Game 14 then. Still in Pool B. China will take on Singapore here at Nam Dong Stadium in Incheon. China beating Malaysia earlier today, 29-0. Look out for number 12, Ma Chong, one of the leading players in this series. And for Singapore, they couldn't really get going against Sri Lanka earlier. There's Hashimoto-san, our referee. Singapore bringing about 4 new players on this leg. Couldn't really get going. Just the one try against Sri Lanka earlier, so they'll be looking to get the scoreboard ticking over a bit more in the second match. Nicholas Yao looked good when he got the ball, as did Samuel Teo. And when Brian Ung comes on, he's got some real gas for Singapore. Starting off the bench mainly in the series so far. Got a concussion in Hong Kong. Looked like a bad one. 3 weeks later, he's back.
It's a very different Singapore team under coach Ismail Kadir, himself a national player.
Here come China straight away, blitzing right down the middle. It's the big man who, is he going to go 80 metres? Incredible run from the big man, and he tries to bring it round, and that's a great start for China. One missed tackle, and you're under your posts.
Number 8, Chen Yihu of China, has scored the try and scored the 5 points.
Singapore will be disappointed with that. First off the kick-off, you miss one tackle, you get punished, particularly by who can score points anywhere. Impressive player. And China have improved remarkably in 12 months, such as the impact of sevens in the Rio Olympics. So Singapore captain Mara Ishraf will be trying to get the boys back up, get the energy back up, get the mind, the attitude, get on the front foot and make your tackles.
Shocked everybody in Hong Kong to China winning their pool. Clean sweep. Took South Korea and Japan out. Got into the cup semis before going down. Here comes Singapore now through Kunasiga, and they've opted for the kick through, but China with the sweeper. It's Feng trudging back.
I don't know if kicking downfield was the smartest option. They're missing Daniel Chow, Singapore, their old captain, their wise leader.
Here is this huge man, Gao Bing, biggest man on the circuit. Look at him go for a big man. He can step and he can run, and he's, just as I said, I put the curse on him.
that commentator curse.
That's right. And look at the size of him.
He is a big unit.
In full flight, coming downfield, he's like a giraffe on the savannah, just cruising along, gets the big stride going.
Have you seen a giraffe on the savannah?
Yeah.
He probably does. No, but to be fair, they're much improved, China, aren't they, Grant? Their fitness has also been impressive in the series so far, as Singapore come inside their own 22.
Again, opting to kick. This one looks like it could have a good chase on the end of it. It's bounced up nicely. And inside to Ting, and he
needed to get that.
Made a few crucial knock-ons in an earlier match, and needs to take a good hard look at his hands as China now winch their way back to halfway. Put it through the hands. They've got athletes, they've got threats right across the 7. Any one of them can break the line. Here goes Shan, and just like that, he eyes up, has a look, takes it quickly, And that's his third try for today.
Well, again, a Singapore mistake. Let's China back into the game. And they've punished Singapore. Shan. So despite the efforts of Daryl Chia, the Singapore wing on that far side, you've got to be constantly facing the opposition in that situation. And you've got to have the attitude and the energy to get up. That communication is critical in defence.
3 unconverted tries.
As quick as that.
Sorry, 2 unconverted tries. Ma Chong hasn't got the radar working yet, and he hasn't really had the ball in hand yet. But when he does, we'll know about it. This time he gets us going. That's well taken down by Nicholas Yao.
In the new Samurai kit that Singapore Rugby Union's new sponsor.
Looks very tidy.
Fashion statement these days.
Kunasegaran just trying to straighten the ship up a little bit. Doing it hard way is Nazrul goes in. Not really making much progress yet, and the eventual chip.
They're loving that right field kick ahead, aren't they? Singapore.
Brian Ng chasing that one. I'd like to see Brian Ng with a bit of ball in hand. Very
Well,
aggressive.
He regathered, I think it was him in the previous passage in that bounce and the ball of the second kick that's so far in this half that Singapore have implemented to relieve pressure in their own half.
Big number 1 Chen at the front there. Takes a short one, feeds it back to Feng, and down that left side they go again. And it's going to be a second try for Hu. Straight from first phase. They put on a short one, and that's hard to defend.
Number 8, Chen Hu of China has scored a try and scored 5 points.
It was a lovely worked move around the front of the line out. They've got a bit of tall timber, China. They're taking full advantage of it, but a well-rehearsed move. Caught Singapore napping. They just look a little bit flat, don't they, when they get chances, Singapore. Ismail Kadir, the Singapore coach, will be asking for more energy at half-time, as well as the conversion is successful.
Chongma finally nails one with his third attempt from right out wide, and he's put some snow on this one as well. He's given Gao easy chance to get after that. The tallest man, 7 foot tall, and he's in for a third. Now, Singapore have done nothing wrong there. It was just a beautiful restart.
Beautiful kick.
7 feet goes in the air, and bang, bang, bang. They finish with a 5th try.
Well, that was so high it had ice on it. As you say, Grant, there was a beautiful restart by China. And the big fella tapped it back to who really just had to run straight 20 metres untouched and really widen the gap between the two teams at half time.
24-0 at half time. Singapore struggling to stay in touch with this China side. Surprise performers on leg 1.
The first half of the match has just finished with China leading Singapore with a score of 24-0.
Well, tomorrow,
the second half of the match will resume after a break of 2 minutes.
You can see the stand on the far side there in our picture. On the left side will be all the employees from the OK Bank, who's the Vice President of the Korean Rugby Union and Chairman inside to our left. And the President, Mr. Lee, is the Sabang. You can see one of the sponsors here there on halfway, and all of their company employees will be on the right side in the stand tomorrow. So such is the community company flavour of spectator support in Korean rugby. And there's big discussions with the Korean Rugby Union about how they can expand and develop the game here in Korea. You've got about 8 university teams. You've got 4 professional teams here that play now, including a new team from Hyundai. Samsung professional team has been cancelled. And about 20 amateur teams. Well, what we don't know, if you're listening into, is there's about 120 Korean players playing professionally in Japan. 18 Korean born and raised, but the other 100 while Korean were born and raised in Japan, and they're very much trying to make themselves eligible to play for Korea. So stay tuned on what happens on that one.
Yep, Johnny Walters, head coach, has been working hard with the powers that be to get these players back. They will definitely have an impact as Singapore now open the legs through Brian Ong. This has come from a mistake at the kickoff. Kunasegaran takes it up to the 10, but he's knocked it on. That's crucial.
There's Kunasegaran. Had a great opportunity there, didn't he? This is much better energy. You can see it and sense it by Singapore. They're really going to have to get their hands on the ball and take China on, put them under pressure. But unfortunately, he's coughed up the ball. And it's relieved that pressure that now China has that scrum you can see there on their own 10-metre line. And they've been impressive every time they've got their hands on the ball, China. They beat Korea and Japan in the last leg, which got everyone talking.
And it goes, it's a quick heel, and away comes Shan, but Teng knocks it out of his hands in a clever bit of play and earns a scrum for his side.
Yeah, it's a little bit better. Kumar's in there, along with Zaki Mahud, Singapore. Not in their traditional red Singapore shirts with this new design.
It's the away strip, is it? The black and white.
Well, it's a new strip.
20 shades of grey.
Very deep Singapore behind the scrum. Kunasegaran.
Here they come now through Brian Ong. There's no support there though as Wang goes in and wins the penalty quite easily so. He just had to get over that, get a finger on the ball, which is what he did. And here come China seizing the disarray now. Up into the 22 goes this big man. 3 tries this tournament. This is Liu. Illegally done, so a penalty under the shadow of the post, and surely they'll just finish this off. Here goes Gao, throws out a big one, and yet another try for who? 3 in this game. And the skills there from the towering Gao, showing that he's not just a line-out exponent, he's got skills.
It was an excellent pass by Gao, wasn't it? He sized up the Singapore defenders, saw there was space in that left corner, and who is ever present in this game, supporting like every good player should, just to cruise into the corner. The conversion, they're giving a good nudge, but it goes to the right, and China making a couple of substitutes. Number 6 coming on, Dengi Lee. It certainly looks like a forward, as Wang wishing to restart. They really have got a nice buffer now, China. 29-0 they lead.
So much so that Ma Chong has been hooked off. He's done his bit. Didn't really have much ball in hand. Keeping that powder dry for the big occasions.
Now, I don't know if this is a deliberate ploy by Singapore to slow play down, but it's given the China defenders plenty of time to realign and get ready.
Kunasigaran with that big left boot of his booms it down into Chinese territory. It's 29-0. They'll be just looking to get on the scoreboard at this stage. It's not long left in this match.
Well, it looked like there was offside of the line out there, but the refs missed it, so they're going to play on. Singapore work it up.
That's good footwork. Offside at that breakdown with the Chinese, so Singapore, Nicholas Yao just taps and grows, and if they can just work it to the right now, they have numbers. Coming back on the inside is Razaini. China are all over that, but the arm is out. Worked out wide at Zaki. And chance gone big in there to get on the scoreboard for Singapore now as China work it out from their own try line, and they could go 100. Oh, that's a huge fend to the collected him in the head. It's been knocked on, and Singapore now with another chance. Again, they've turned it over, and again China decide to run it out. This is Lee. The big man goes surging downfield. It's Wang Jianhua, and Daryl Cheer can't stop him. You can just try and keep him out from the pace, but they throw it inside. He's there on support. Lee Denke has been rewarded with some good commitment on support.
Well, that was such a shame for Singapore. They were right under the China goalpost, right in front a couple of metres, and it's gone all the way to the other end as quick as that, as often happens in sevens. No reward for their efforts. And you can see, despite Chia going in cover defence, Wang unselfishly throws it over the top, throws it to Lee. Thanks for coming on in the second half. Here's a try for you.
There's not many players that would stay on support for 60 metres.
Well, when they had the trackers first come in at the international level, players like Will Greenwood, who played for England, he deliberately would go up and congratulate the try scorer because it would look good on his metres run at the end of the game. And Clive Woodward could never work out how come he'd run so many metres. They wised up after a while.
Daryl Cheer there with a great run for Singapore. The hoot is gone, and now Singapore determined to get something out of this to take into their last game against Malaysia. The battle of the two neighbours at the end of today, but here come China once more, and Wang, can Wang finish this? He's got 3-2 on the inside, and again unselfishly unloading to Liu, who gets himself on the score sheet to take it to 41 points to 0.
Number 7, Liu of China, has scored the try and scored 5 points.
And that's over, so it's 43-0, comprehensive by China, and Singapore just clutching at straws a little bit. Back to the drawing board, 43 points to 0.
This game has finished now. China defeated Singapore.
본 경기가 방금 종료됐으며 중국팀이 싱가포르를 이겼습니다.
Next game between Hong Kong and Japan.